more sustainable kind of...
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvita Nija. Coming up in the next hour. Audible sigh of relief as conflict between Israel and Iran appears to be de-escalating for now, a result of hectic diplomatic efforts by world leaders and their call for restraint to both parties. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi slams Congress at a rally in Chikballapur, Karnataka. Rahul Gandhi hits back while campaigning in Bhagalpur, Bihar. India is changing, says Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, adds enactment of 3 new criminal laws signify watershed moment. And US House set to vote on the long-awaited $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan, votes to reauthorize surveillance program for national security. Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, on Saturday hailed the enactment of the new criminal justice laws as a watershed moment for Indian society. Addressing a conference in New Delhi, he said India is set for a significant overhaul of its criminal justice system. A report by our correspondent Vikas Sarthe.
India's Ministry of Law and Justice organized a conference in New Delhi titled India's Progressive Path in the Administration of Criminal Justice System on Saturday. Speaking at this conference, Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud said that the new criminal laws set to be implemented from July 1st would be successful if those who are in charge of implementing them adapt to them. He said for this, investment in infrastructure and training of police, judges and lawyers is needed.
Key provisions of the new criminal law would only produce a positive impact if these investments are made as soon as possible. Let us take the example of the timeline prescribed for the completion of trials and the pronouncement of judgments after the judgment is reserved. The BNSS provides that criminal trials must be completed in 3 years and that a judgment must be pronounced within 45 days of it being reserved. This stipulation is a breath of fresh air for addressing the issue of case pendency, as well as the rights of the victim and the accused in a criminal case.
Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud added that the new laws have transitioned India's legal framework on criminal justice into the new age and have introduced the much-needed improvements to protect victim interests. He said fixing of timeline for trial and decision in the new criminal laws is a welcome change.
Summary trial has been made mandatory for petty and less serious offences. The magisterial system has also been streamlined. One of the problems of our criminal justice administration is that we treat the serious and the petty almost on the same footing. That has to change, which it has changed under the new laws. But the real challenge is about changing mindsets on our part to adapt to the new system.
Now let's take a look at India's new criminal justice laws. The 3 laws will replace British-era criminal justice system. The new laws have been made with Indian sensibilities in mind. They have particular harsh punishments for crimes against minors. As per the new laws, mob lynching could also invoke capital punishment. Digital records can be admitted as evidence. The new laws will digitize entire process from FIR to court verdict. And the hit-and-run cases will not be implemented immediately. India's Law and Justice Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal, while addressing the conference, said the earlier laws brought by the British were for punishment, while Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reformed these laws for providing justice.
विकसित भारत की जो कल्पना प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने की है उसमें गुलामी के अंशों से मुक्ति ये दूसरा प्रण है हमारा। ये दूसरा प्रण है जी हमारा। गुलामी का भाव अगर तेजी से हट रहा है तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कालखंड में हट रहा है। इसलिए मोदी जी कहते हैं यही समय है, सही समय है, भारत का अनमोल समय है। और जब 1 जुलाई से ये तीनों कानून लागू होंगे तो भारत का ये समय और अनमोल बनने वाला है।
Attorney General of India R. Venkata Ramani, Solicitor General of India Tushar Mehta also addressed the conference. The three laws, that is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023 and the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam 2023 replaced the earlier criminal laws, namely the Indian Penal Code 1860, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 and the Indian Evidence Act 1872. With Bureau inputs, Vikas Sarthi's report for DD India.
More from India. The Finance Minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, articulated her vision for a developed India by 2047 during an interaction held at the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Ahmedabad on Saturday. Highlighting Gujarat's prominence in renewable energy and manufacturing, Sitharaman emphasized the need for India to achieve self-reliance and stand out in various sectors. And now we get you the latest buzz in the run-up to the second phase of the world's largest democratic elections in India. Up first, here's a song that encapsulates the dreams and aspirations of India's first-time voters, motivating all to vote. As British author Roald Dahl once said, somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world.
18 की हूँ, कोई बच्ची नहीं हूँ पर कच्ची नहीं.
நீ ஏற்றாலும் ஏற்காட்டியும் பெருசா சாதிக்க வாய்ப்பு இது. நாட்டின் எதிர்காலத்தை எழுத நல் துவக்கம் இது.
Lorani reforma ei mati de kelisu murde khode ahvan ajije khunisu
మనమందరం ప్రయాణం ప్రారంభించాం. దేశ భవితవ్యాన్ని మార్చేందుకు కొనుక్కున్నాం.
amar jeevan amar bhuvan shobi mago tumi
దేశ భవితవ్యాన్ని మార్చేందుకు కొనుక్కున్నాం.
mata hakidaga desha ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ.
ఈ జీవితం ఈ శరీరం మనసెல்லாம் നിങ്ങളുടേതൻ. ഇന്നനി കരിയം രാജ്യം വിളിക്കുന്നു നേരം.
पक्का विचारा है करुण दाखू सारे
എന്റെ രാജതിന്റെ ദൃഢനിശ്ചയങ്ങൾ. പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ പയയാ ചുക്കേ കദം അസി ਤਕਦੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਬਦਲਣ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਅਸੀਂ. देश महान है वो जब हमें मतदान करीबा.
क्या तेरा क्या मेरा सब तुझ पे ही बारा आज मुझको है मेरे देश ने पुकारा. अपनी यारों की खाओ कसम बदलने भाग्य देश का निकल पड़े हैं हम.
ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರದಿಂದ ಕನ್ಯಾಕುಮಾರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತೂಪಿಲಿ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಪರಿಚಿತರು. ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮಿಗಳು, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಯಾರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎದುರಾಗಬಾರದು.
आज आवाज आज अधिकार आज आजादी नो पुरस्कार लोकशाही में आज संस्कार मित्रों नई सौगंध आज करिए मतदान देश ने काज पहलू मतदान आपने.
ये जीवन ये तन मन सब कुछ है तुम्हारा. आज मुझको है मेरे देश ने पुकारा.
So do make your vote count. So as 62% of voter turnout was recorded in the first phase, campaigning has peaked ahead of the second phase of Indian elections, which are just less than a week from now on 26th of this month. Leaders of the ruling BJP to opposition leaders, they're all crisscrossing states on their campaign trail, wooing voters and charging allegations and counter-allegations against their opponents. Well, the people have to ultimately decide.
With just less than a week to go for the second phase polling to be held on 26th of this month across 13 states and union territories of the country, campaigning has gathered momentum with leaders traversing the length and breadth of India, trying to woo voters with promises, thereby raising the public expectations. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in southern Indian state of Karnataka, where he addressed rallies in Bengaluru and Chikkaballapur to woo voters. Prime Minister said that India Alliance is not even able to tell the citizens about who their combined leader will be.
कांग्रेस एंटी टैक्स पेयर है, कांग्रेस एंटी वेल्थ क्रिएटर है। यहाँ कांग्रेस सरकार जिस प्रकार के विचारों को, जिस मानसिकता को बढ़ावा दे रही है, वो भी बहुत खतरनाक है। यहाँ हमारी बेटियों पर हमले हो रहे हैं, बाजारों में बम फूट रहे हैं, भजन कीर्तन सुनने पर भी हमले हो रहे हैं। ये सामान्य घटनाएं नहीं है और इसलिए मैं बेंगलुरु के और कर्नाटका के भाइयों से आग्रह करूंगा, ये कांग्रेस से बहुत अलर्ट रहना है।
Taking on the previous governments, the Prime Minister said that the SC, ST and OBC families were compelled to live in slums during their tenure. PM also urged people not to fall prey to opposition's false promises.
Every time Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi speaks from a platform like this at Bangalore, he gets thunderous applause and welcome from the people of the city. Prime Minister Narendra Modi connects with them directly through digital technology and AI, which is very dear to the people of Bangalore, since Bangalore is considered as Silicon Valley of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also warned the people not to get swayed by the poll promises and keep the image of brand Bangalore intact.
PM also was on the campaign trail in the western Indian state of Maharashtra and held rallies in Nanded and Parbhani. Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah addressed a rally in Kota in the northwestern state of Rajasthan. Amit Shah also took part in a rally in Bhilwara city earlier in the day. The opposition camp also was not far behind as far as campaigning is concerned. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi held rally in the southern state of Kerala, while Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was in the eastern state of Bihar holding rallies in Bhagalpur.
8,500 रुपए महीने के, 1 लाख रुपए साल के, इंडिया गठबंधन ठगाठक हर महीने हजारों करोड़ रुपए हिंदुस्तान के सबसे गरीब परिवारों को सीधा बैंक अकाउंट पे जाएगा।
Turning to West Bengal, the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee held rallies across the state. On the other hand, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy, hit the campaign trail and asked people to vote for YSR Congress candidate. Phase 1 of the general elections ended on Friday with a total voter turnout of 62.37%. The counting of votes for all 7 phases of general elections will take place on June 4. With inputs from Aisha Khanam and Bengaluru, Tripti Tripathi for DD India.
And now let's connect with Aisha Khanam from Bengaluru. Aisha, this is PM Modi's 4th visit to Karnataka since the announcement of the Lok Sabha poll schedule. How are you assessing the poll fever in Karnataka overall?
Well, Tripti, Karnataka goes to polls on April 26th. This will be the first phase for Karnataka, wherein out of 28 seats, Karnataka will vote 14 seats. So for this, the campaign is really heated up, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has been giving a push to the south as such, for more seats in the south. And Bangalore and Karnataka, as these for BJP, it is considered as a BJP's stronghold. And especially Bangalore is the city which has 3 Lok Sabha seats. And this is considered as BJP's promised bastion. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Bangalore, and he campaigned for the 3 candidates in Bangalore North, Bangalore South and Bangalore Central, besides 1 candidate of Bangalore Rural. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi's hard-hitting attack on the Karnataka state government for the lawlessness and for the breakdown of law and order in the state, and he really came down heavily on the Chief Minister for not maintaining peace and law and order in the state. See, there were two murders, daylight murders that occurred just 2 days ago, and still the Karnataka government has not come forward and explained as to what led to these murders. Although the one accused in Hubli is arrested, but there was another murder in Bangalore, a broad daylight murder. There is no progress in this case so far. So Prime Minister attacked this lawlessness and he said that people of Karnataka, especially people of Bangalore, should not let down the brand Bangalore. And for Prime Minister, it is easy to connect with the IT crowd in Bangalore. Bangalore is considered as a Silicon Valley of India. So Prime Minister, in his speech, also connected with them and said that Digital India has given opportunities for the youngsters, for the youth to be digitally empowered.
Yes.
And now it is the era of AI.
Yes.
So that is what, that's how the people connected with him when he...
Aisha, you were speaking of lawlessness in the state. So is law and order problem also becoming a major poll issue in the state? Because we also know of the Rameshwaram Cafe blast, apart from the ones that you mentioned.
Yes, absolutely. Because the BJP has raised this issue and BJP has made this as a big issue because BJP says that, till now Bangalore was known for its brand Bangalore and now it is seen as bomb Bangalore. The Karnataka government also hesitated in terming this as a terror attack, and it said that it's just a business rivalry that led to this attack. So the BJP says that this is the appeasement politics by the state government, which is leading to this kind of fearlessness among the miscreants, among the terrorists who attacked the Rameshwaram Cafe. So this is one big issue that BJP has raised, and BJP, along with the law and order issue, the BJP is attacking the Karnataka Chief Minister for appeasement politics because BJP believes that the Karnataka government is not taking enough or stringent action against the terror groups, the sleeper cells in the state, and also the two murders, the daylight murders that occurred in Hubli and Bangalore recently. So Karnataka government is, in the dock, and it has been cornered by the BJP. And so far, the government has said the investigation is on. But at the moment, Karnataka Chief Minister and the other, the government, the ministers are busy campaigning. And
Yes.
also the Karnataka Chief Minister has defended
Yes.
the fact that, the murder was due to a personal issue.
Yes.
So all these things are heating up, turning into a bitter campaign. But
Bitter
today's
campaign, yeah.
Narendra Modi's, campaign blitz has really wooed the people in the IT city, in the IT capital of India.
All right, we leave it here. Thank you very much, Aisha Khanam, for those updates. You're watching DD India News Hour. Still to come on the show. US sanctions 3 Chinese firms and a Belarus-based firm for providing ballistic missile components to Pakistan. A man sets himself on fire outside the New York courthouse where Donald Trump's historic hush money trial was underway. And fighting flares at Myanmar-Thai border as rebels target stranded junta troops.
Traditional knowledge can often help us gain new prospects for the future. Speaking of traditions, what did you have for lunch today?
We thought that through Sputnik Farms, we can try to create more resilient and more sustainable kind of food system.
We wanted to recover the art of weaving we knew as children. We founded the Nurupu Collective, which aims to improve the situation of weavers here.
By working with this parametric modeling, we can change the city and visualize it in several different ways. So that's a very strong mechanism in the digital twin, just working with parametric visualization.
In the IPCC, we have a range of different climate modelling scenarios, ranging from low emission scenarios to really high emission scenarios, and kind of everything in between.
On to West Asia now. The conflict between Israel and Iran appears to be de-escalating for now. It's the result of hectic diplomacy by world leaders and their call for restraint to both parties. Efforts to ease tensions are still on. DD India's Raghav Kumar Jha reports.
World leaders called on Iran and Israel to try to avoid escalating tensions following the apparent Israeli airstrike on Friday near an Iranian air base and nuclear facility. Group of 7 foreign ministers meeting in Italy warned of new sanctions against Iran for its drone and missile attack on Israel last weekend and urged both sides to avoid worsening the conflict. Meanwhile, Egyptian foreign minister visited Turkey and discussed Iran-Israel tensions and situation in Gaza with his Turkish counterpart. After the meeting, Turkish foreign minister strongly advocated two-state solution for resolving the Middle East crisis.
Our first priority should be ending the Israeli occupation and implementing the two-state solution formula.
On the other hand, the White House said that the United States is making all efforts to reduce the risk of escalation in the Middle East.
We have been very, very clear from here, from the beginning, that we do not want to see this conflict escalate. We continue to consult with our allies and partners, including in the region, obviously, and to reduce further risk of escalation.
The conflict between Israel and Iran appears de-escalating for now, as Israel has not officially acknowledged its involvement in the attack in Iran, whereas Iran's military and political leaders are also downplaying the attack. Raghav Kumar Jha reporting for DD India.
And now let's also get the latest from our correspondent Sarah Coates, stationed at Tel Aviv. Sarah, the fears of an escalation between Iran and Israel appear to be easing off for now.
Hello there, Tanvi. I would say a direct escalation between Israel and Iran. Certainly a lot of tension here on the ground. I've just been speaking to a number of people, and there really is a nervous type of calm. People are going about their daily business. It is a weekend. They're out enjoying the sunshine, but there is always this looming threat that something could be around the corner. Now, as I mentioned, this direct confrontation really playing out yesterday with this alleged targeted, very limited Israeli strike inside Iran. But certainly what we can expect to see in the coming days, in the coming weeks, is Iran really pushing its proxy, specifically Hezbollah in Lebanon, which of course is on Israel's northern border, to up these attacks against Israel. And really, over the past few hours, red alert sirens have been ringing out in these northern communities in Israel. They are largely evacuated and have been since this war began, given that these tit-for-tat strikes between Israel and Hezbollah are only intensifying. So certainly this is something that we really need to watch, this northern border. And Israeli authorities are on extremely high alert. Over the past few days, the IDF has been conducting drills inside the Rambam hospital, that is in Haifa, putting it on a more prepared sort of method to deal with a mass casualty event. There are grave fears that there could very well be another massive barrage of missiles, rockets launched over potentially that border there, that blue line, targeting these communities or these northern areas. So that hospital there is now on war mode and has been drilling, as I said, for a mass casualty event. Tanvi.
Sarah Coates in Tel Aviv. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, after months of delay, the US House of Representatives is set to pass a tens of billions of dollars in US military aid package for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. Republican-controlled House of Representatives is expected to vote in favor of the $95 billion package providing security assistance to these three nations. The United States has imposed sanctions on 3 Chinese companies and a Belarus-based firm for supplying missiles applicable items to Pakistan. The Minsk Wheel Tractor Plant in Belarus supplies special vehicle chassis to Pakistan's long-range ballistic missile program. Such chassis are used as launch support equipment for ballistic missiles by Pakistan's National Development Complex, which is responsible for the development of Missile Technology Control Regime Category 1 ballistic missiles. On to the historic Donald Trump's hush money trial case. After nearly a week of discussions, a jury and a handful of alternates have been selected in Donald Trump's hush money trial. When Friday's proceedings were on, a man set himself on fire outside the court. It was said that the man was a conspiracy theorist and did not believe that his actions were related to the former US president. Opening statements in Trump's criminal trial could begin on Monday. DD India's William Denslow reports from New York City.
During legal proceedings on Friday, the key issue that needed to be resolved was finding the 6 alternates to go along with the 12 members of the jury that were sworn in on Thursday. That has now been achieved, which means that, according to Judge Juan Machan, we could see opening statements in Donald Trump's criminal hush money case, his trial, to begin as early as Monday. Those opening statements will provide the first opportunity for the defense and the prosecution to try and convince the jury of Donald Trump's innocence or his guilt. For the prosecution, they'll be seeking to successfully accuse Donald Trump of paying hush money to the porn star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 elections. For the defense, they will seek to argue that the $130,000 that Donald Trump paid to his fixer at the time, Michael Cohen, was a legitimate business, a legal expense. Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. Also to be established is Judge Machan will make rulings on what exactly people can ask Donald Trump if indeed he chooses to take the witness stand during this trial. There's also the matter of the gag order on Donald Trump. He says that it is unconstitutional. He says it is impacting his ability to defend himself and to politically campaign as he seeks re-election.
This is really a concerted witch hunt, very simple. Everything you heard in there, this is a witch hunt by numerous judges, Democrat judges. You take a look at it, and Engoron is a whack job. What he did was a disgrace. It's being reviewed by the appellate division. And I hope they do justice, because everybody's looking, and no business is coming into the city.
For the prosecution, well, they argue that Donald Trump has been violating that gag order that essentially seeks to block him from attacking witnesses and during this trial. They've warned that such violations could result in Donald Trump even facing up to 30 days behind bars. Judge Juan Machan is expected to hold a hearing on that matter on Tuesday. William Denslow in New York reporting for DD India.
Back to Asia now. Fighting raged at Myanmar's eastern frontier with Thailand on Saturday, forcing 200 civilians to flee as rebels pressed to flush out the junta holed up for days near a border crossing. Resistance fighters and ethnic minority rebels seized the key trading town of Mewade on the Myanmar side of the frontier on 11th of April, dealing a big blow to a well-equipped military that is struggling to govern and is now facing a critical test of its battlefield credibility. 3 witnesses on the Thai and Myanmar sides of the border said that they heard explosions and heavy machine gunfire near a strategic bridge from late on Friday that continued into early Saturday. Several Thai media outlets said that about 200 people had crossed the border to seek temporary refuge in Thailand. Next, we take a look at what else is happening around the world. At least 2 unintended substances have been found in some of Japanese drug maker Kobayashi Pharmaceuticals' dietary supplements with red yeast rice or benikoji. The products containing the benikoji ingredient have been linked to numerous reports of kidney problems. Ihor Yanchuk, a street musician from Kiev, played piano in the port city of Odessa. He does it every day to support the local residents amid attacks from Russia. Dozens of people attend Yanchuk's impromptu concerts, calling them piano therapy. Global luxury labels in the United Kingdom are now struggling with a weak demand, and the situation has worsened as the country is currently experiencing a technical recession. A total of 11 stores under Ted Baker, a British high street fashion chain which was founded in 1988, have already shut by Friday across the UK. Tens of thousands of people are protesting across the Canary Islands to call for an urgent rethink of the Spanish archipelago's tourism strategy and a freeze on visitor numbers. People argued that the decades-old model has made life unaffordable and environmentally unsustainable for residents. You're watching DD India News. Are still to come on the show. Washington to withdraw military troops from Niger. Agreement reached between US and Niger's leadership, cite sources. Maldives abuzz with preparations for its fourth multi-party parliamentary elections to be held on Sunday. And Nepal hosts the first Rainbow International Tourism Conference in Kathmandu with an aim to promote accessible tourism.
Traditional knowledge can often help us gain new prospects for the future. Speaking of traditions, what did you have for lunch today?
We thought that through Sputnik Farms, we can try to create more resilient and more sustainable kind of food system.
We wanted to recover the art of weaving we knew as children. We founded the Nurupu Collective, which aims to improve the situation of weavers here.
By working with this parametric modeling, we can change the city and visualize it in several different ways. So that's a very strong mechanism in the digital twin, just working with parametric visualization.
In the IPCC, we have a range of different climate modelling scenarios, ranging from low emission scenarios to really high emission scenarios, and kind of everything in between.
Deep Poll Pulse has reached here in Bangalore, the capital of the down south pole-bound Karnataka.
National elections are more worried about national security. The right person, if you vote, it will take your country in a right direction.
Voting is very important because the only rights we have.
It is a straight contest between the two arch rivals, the ruling dispensation Congress party and the principal opposition BJP.
Welcome back. You're with us on DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A quick reminder of our top stories at this hour. Audible sigh of relief as conflict between Israel and Iran appears to be de-escalating for now, a result of hectic diplomatic efforts by world leaders and their call for restraint to both parties. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi slams Congress at a rally in Chikkaballapur, Karnataka. Rahul Gandhi hits back while campaigning in Bhagalpur, Bihar. India is changing, says Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, adds enactment of 3 new criminal laws signify watershed moment. The Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, today emphasized the importance of adapting to the upcoming new criminal laws for a successful overhaul of India's criminal justice system. And now to discuss this, we have with us from Jammu, SP Ved. Sir was former DGP J&K Police. Welcome, sir, to the program. Namaste. Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud has hailed the enactment of these 3 new criminal laws as a watershed moment for our society. Would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, the Honorable Chief Justice has made a very relevant point that India is changing. And with these 3 new laws, this is a watershed moment in the criminal justice system in India. And a lot of technological changes have taken place. The earlier laws, IPC, criminal justice system was very old, roughly 150 years old. And you had sedition in that, which has been repealed. It is more reformative rather than punitive. The whole spirit of law is reformation rather than punishing, which was the spirit in earlier laws. Now the new offense introduced are endangering sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, which was earlier not there. Terrorism has been defined for the first time. Mob lynching was in the earlier laws was not there. The hate crime was not defined. Punishment has been enhanced for mob lynching. Community service has been actually defined, and it in case of minor offences, rather than punishing them, community service has been introduced. You will be asked for offenses less than 3 years punishment. You will be asked to do some service to the community. Proceedings through audiovisual means have been, the use of technology has been encouraged in these laws. More importance has been given to forensic science in investigation, prosecution and judicial system. And organized crime and terrorism have been for the first time properly defined, and the punishment has been enhanced in the mob lynching. The punishment has been enhanced. Hit and run cases have been defined, which when truck drivers went on strike all over the country, and I think government has held it for some time and to review, promised to review it. Sexual exploitation of women by deceitful means have been brought in. Snatching have been defined, and which was earlier not there. Abetment outside India, which was not the case in earlier laws, because you see these days, whether it is Khalistani or other elements who are doing acts which actually affect our country and against our country, and they undertake these acts outside the country, which needed to be defined, and they have been defined. Publication of false and fake news has been actually brought in. Death penalty for mob lynching and rape of minors has been included. Now, adultery, homosexual sex and suicide attempts have been dropped. They have been decriminalized. Speedy trial, the charge sheet has to be filed in 90 days, which was earlier, we all know how cases were pending for years together. There are some cases where actually taking 30, 40 years. Can you imagine? By then the accused person even dies. A magistrate can, however, allow another 90 days. So maximum 180 days, the case has to be finalized and brought before the magistrate. After trial, the judgment will have to be given in 30 days, which even the courts have been given only 30 days after the trial is over, and they have to upload the judgment. Punishment less than 3 years for summary trials. In offences where the punishment is only for 3 years, up to 3 years, these offences have been classified as minor offences, and summary trial is allowed in that. This will bring the load of the sessions court to less than 40%. Now, FIRs, anywhere you can record. Most of the citizens were facing a problem that police station is not taking our FIR, is not recording our FIR. Now, today, with these new laws, you can file FIR anywhere in the country, wherever you are, whether offense has happened in J&K and I am in Chandigarh or I am in Chennai. So I can file FIR even in police station Chennai there. So,
yes, sir, you've very beautifully explained all these key provisions of the new criminal laws. Importantly, the Chief Justice has noted that the 3 new laws will be successful if those in charge of implementing them adapt to them. Could you explain this statement more fully?
I think absolutely Chief Justice has made a very relevant point. Ultimately, the man behind the laws is very, very important. So that's why the government is going for extensive training of those who have to implement these laws, whether they are policemen, whether they are the prosecution side or judiciary. So I think extensive training is required, and also you need to ensure that those who have to implement these are properly trained, have understood the spirit of these laws, and obviously the intent of people also matters. If somebody has intent to follow the law in spirit and help the citizens by way of service to the people, he will be able to do implement these laws, provide justice to the people. But if intent is to make money, or intent is that actually applies to every field.
Yeah, every citizen also.
Yes.
Yes, on either side of the law system. Sir, the Chief Justice of India further underscored that proper infrastructure must be created for the country to reap the benefits of these 3 new criminal laws. Specifically, what needs to be done here in your view? And do you see all this happening in the near future?
Yes, what Honorable Chief Justice said, the infrastructure is required. Now, lot of emphasis has been given to forensic science. I'm afraid in India today, the forensic science facilities are very, very poor. And that's why the Honorable Home Minister is, who has a lot of experience from Gujarat, and I think one of the best forensic science facilities are available in Gujarat. And I think that is why a lot of emphasis is being made to ensure that forensic science facilities and their training is given to all the police officers and prosecutors all across the country. And that's why government has even moved for constituting, I think already an act has been passed in the parliament for having a national level university for forensic science. I think the facilities of forensic science need to be increased. Similarly, many other provisions of the law which have been brought, new things have been, now use of electronic the technology. Now the police officers, not only they should be trained in this electronic technology, they must have the access to these technology. So all these things in basic infrastructure required for implementing these laws required to be provided to the both investigators and prosecutors, and of course the judges also.
And Mr. Ved, lastly, the provision relating to the hit and run cases by vehicle drivers, it is being said that it will not be implemented immediately. We know that all these provisions will be implemented from July the 1st. Why is that these hit and run cases will take more time?
Actually, you know, the new hit and run cases which were brought in these new laws had actually made it more stringent. I think punishment was enhanced to 7 years and above. So I think there was certain concerns about the driver community that liability has been fixed on them and the punishment has been enhanced. So they went on strike all over the country. There was a chakka jam, and there are certain other issues which these drivers have. I think that's why the government held meeting with them and promised them to review this before it is this particular part of the criminal new laws will be implemented.
All right. Thank you very much, SP Vaidji, for joining us in DD India News Hour and shedding valuable inputs on this overhaul of our criminal justice system. Let's move on now. The United States will withdraw its troops from Niger in Africa. A source familiar with the matter told media late on Friday, adding that an agreement was reached between U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell and Niger's leadership. There were a little over 1,000 U.S. troops in Niger as of last year, where the U.S. military operated out of 2 bases, including a drone base known as Air Base 201, built near Agadez in central Niger at a cost of more than $100 million. Since 2018, the base has been used to target Islamic State militants and Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin at an Al-Qaeda affiliate in the Sahel region. Last year, Niger's army seized power in a coup. Until the coup, Niger had remained a key security partner of the United States and France. So, US has agreed, as per sources, to withdraw troops from Niger, and the U.S. military will soon begin plans to withdraw troops from Niger as part of an agreement between the leadership of the 2 sides. So the US built a military base in Niger to combat armed groups that pledged allegiance to militant groups Al-Qaeda and ISIL in the Sahel region, which also includes Burkina Faso and Mali. And as we told you, the major air base in Agadez, some 920 kilometers from the capital Niamey, was used for manned and unmanned surveillance flights and other operations. And DD India correspondent Tessem Akende joins us from Jos, Nigeria for more on the story. Tessem, how far will the withdrawal of US troops from Niger affect the operations against Islamic State militants in the area?
Indeed, it's a very, it's coming as a blow, but I mean, the military governments in the country have formed alliance with other countries who are also operating under military regimes, talking about Mali and Burkina Faso. They formed together a joint task force to address concerns in that region, in their countries, really. So yes, it's what would have been a very big blow is really with the alliance, around the three countries. They think they can actually, put some efforts together. But yes, just to also announce or state that Niger at the moment has in the country the arrival of some, military experts from Russia who are around, who have arrived near Niamey, the capital of the country, and have begun instructing or training personnel of, the armed forces in Niger Republic. So there's an alliance with Russia. There's also an alliance with, other countries within the, West African region who have similar issues and have been toppled by military administrations, talking about Niger and Burkina Faso precisely.
Okay. Tessem, 8 coups in West and Central Africa in 4 years. What explains so many coups and the consequent democratic backsliding in the region?
Yes, the military, juntas that have toppled these governments have accused the democratically elected governments they had toppled of not being able to, address the concerns. They've also said they want better alliances, because if they had had alliances with France and the US in the past, and then these coups, these security concerns have not been able to be addressed, these military juntas feel that with better alliances, the situation could just get better. And so this might just explain why the situation is at the moment.
Thank you, Tessem, for this analysis. Tessem Akende joining us from Jos, Nigeria. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Japanese couple sue government over the surname law. India's Yuki Bhamri and his French partner Albano Olivetti confirmed their place in the men's doubles final of the Munich Open.
Traditional knowledge can often help us gain new prospects for the future. Speaking of traditions, what did you have for lunch today?
We thought that through Sputnik Farms, we can try to create more resilient and more sustainable kind of food system.
We wanted to recover the art of weaving we knew as children. We founded the Nurupu Collective, which aims to improve the situation of weavers here.
By working with this parametric modeling, we can change the city and visualize it in several different ways. So that's a very strong mechanism in the digital twin, just working with parametric visualization.
In the IPCC, we have a range of different climate modelling scenarios, ranging from low emission scenarios to really high emission scenarios, and kind of everything in between.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. The archipelago nation of Maldives is abuzz with preparations for its fourth multi-party parliamentary elections to be held on Sunday. 8 political parties are vying for control of the People's Majlis, fielding a total of 368 candidates across the 93 constituencies. President Dr. Muizu has been emphasizing the importance of securing a pro-government majority in Parliament. A total of 602 polling stations have been set up across constituencies and 3 stationed overseas in Colombo, Sri Lanka, Thiruvananthapuram in India and Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. More from Asia, the first Rainbow International Tourism Conference took place in Nepal's Kathmandu, held by the civil society Mayako Pachichan in association with the Nepal Tourism Board. The LGBTQ participants and experts in their field spoke on pink tourism and bringing inclusiveness in the tourism sector to boost economy of any country. EU Ambassador in Nepal, Veronique Lorenzo, expressed that Nepal, being the LGBTQ-friendly country, has great prospects to attract tourists as compared to other LGBTQ non-friendly Asian countries. Nepal visioned itself to be a favorable destination wedding and honeymoon vacation place for LGBTQ community from its 2 big neighbors along with other countries. Critical topics such as LGBTI plus travel, accessible tourism, cultural sensitivity and community engagement were discussed to create a more inclusive and equitable tourism sector in the country through collaborative efforts with key stakeholders including the Nepal Tourism Board, international organizations such as that of the World Bank, USAID and the vibrant private sector. This conference endeavored to champion initiatives that celebrate the rich tapestry of human diversity. And next we bring you more stories making news from India. Steel cutting ceremony of the 3rd cadet training ship held at L&T shipyard in Kattupalli, Tamil Nadu was held on Saturday. These cadet training ships will be utilized for training officer cadets at sea after their basic training ashore. This is another significant milestone in Indian Navy's pursuit towards indigenous shipbuilding and Make in India initiative. The Indian Navy conducted exercise Purvi Leher on East Coast under the operational control of the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Eastern Naval Command. The exercise aimed at validation of procedures towards assessment of the Navy's preparedness to meet maritime security challenges in the region. A fire broke out in a truck loaded with gas cylinders on Moradabad-Bhojpur road in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh. The fire spread out in the nearby fields. It was brought under control with the help of 5 to 6 fire tenders. No injuries or casualties have been reported so far. The India Meteorological Department has forecast severe heat wave conditions in many parts of West Bengal on Sunday and in isolated pockets over Jharkhand and Bihar till the 24th of this month. In Odisha, the heat wave conditions will, however, gradually abate from tomorrow. In Japan, 6 couples are suing the country's government over a law forcing them to adopt a single surname after marriage. They are arguing that the centuries-old custom disproportionately affects women who are more likely to give up their surnames in favor of the husbands. DD India's Chris Gilbert has more.
Nizu-san and Kurokawa-san have been together for 30 years, but they've chosen not to get married because they want to keep their own surnames, which aren't actually Nizu or Kurokawa. Those are pseudonyms to protect them from blowback as they sue the state.
I feel this is something we should not pass on to the next generation. There are so many people suffering. That's why we took on this lawsuit.
They've been in a de facto marriage for 18 years, but are missing out on the legal protections of a married couple.
It's hard for non-married couples to get a joint home loan. We're ineligible for many tax deductions married couples enjoy. Also, if one of us becomes ill, the other may not have the power to make medical decisions.
The law does not dictate who must give up their family name upon marriage, but government data shows it's usually women. In 2019, 95% of newlyweds adopted the husband's surname for their new family. Critics argue this can impact their career, as many attempt to continue working using their pre-marriage surname.
Going through the courts has been tried before. Lawsuits in 2017 and 2021 also pushed for married couples to keep their own surnames. And they were both dismissed, with the courts ruling it was an issue for Parliament.
But experts believe this time might be different.
Though they've lost many times before, the argument that the political route isn't working has become quite strong, and public opinion is on the side of change. Many legal experts see a chance of success.
Kurokawa-san is frustrated with lawmakers.
The politics on this isn't moving. There's no option for us but to knock on the doors of the judiciary again and again.
The case has extra momentum with big business on side. The country's biggest lobby say the law should have been changed years ago. A court date for the first hearing is yet to be set. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo reporting for DD India.
And it's time now for all the sporting action. Indian wrestler Vinesh Fogart secured a quota for the Paris Olympics in the women's 50 kg category on Saturday. The 29-year-old wrestler did not concede a single point at the Asian Olympic qualifier in Bishkek, capital of Kyrgyzstan. Her achievement marks India's second berth at the Paris Games, following Antim Pangal's bronze medal winning performance in the 53 kg category at the World Championships last year. Despite facing challenges, Vinesh showcased her strength and experience throughout the tournament, swiftly defeating her opponents. Fogart has now booked her third consecutive Olympic quota, having previously represented India in the Rio Games in 2016, Tokyo Games in 2020. The World Qualifiers is scheduled on May the 9th in Turkey. The Indian wrestlers still have another opportunity to secure quota for the Paris Games. India's Yuki Bhamre and his French partner Albano Olivetti have confirmed their place in the men's doubles final of the Munich Open Tennis. The duo entered the final by beating the players from Austria 6-1, 6-7, 10-7. This victory will further strengthen Yuki's chance of qualifying for the Paris Olympics in the doubles. Bhamre and Olivetti have been in fine form of late. Earlier in the first round, they beat the finalists of the French Open and the champions of the Monte Carlo Masters. The ATP 250 Munich Open final will take place on Sunday. Focused on developing the next line of quality riders and picking the best India team for next year's Asian Continental Championships, the Equestrian Federation of India announced an extensive calendar of 41 competitions for the 2024-25 season that includes many firsts. The 2024-25 season will start on August 11th with the Sapta Shakti Horse Show in Jaipur and the AEF Under-21 Show jumping competition scheduled for October 12th and 13th. Meanwhile, the dressage meet will take place at the Army Polo and Riding Centre from November 28th to December 1st. The EFI will also be introducing the para dressage competitions for the first time, with the first event to be held from October 18th to 20th. And the Paris Olympic flame arrived at Greece's most famous landmark, the Acropolis, on Friday as part of the 11-day relay across Greece ahead of the Paris 2024 Games. Former European 400 meters hurdles champion Perikles Ikavakis lit a cauldron in front of the Parthenon temple from his torch. The torch for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games was lit in ancient Olympia in a traditional ceremony on April 16th. It will be officially handed over to the Paris Games organizers in Athens' Panathinaikos Stadium on April 26th. The French torch relay will last 68 days and will end in Paris with the lighting of the Olympic flame on July 26th when the Games begin. So that's it for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles, Facebook, X, Instagram at DD India Live. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from my entire team in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.